Tonight on EIV News at 6, a look at the ongoing presidential primaries.
And the FBI finding a way around Apple's refusal to unlock the San Bernardino shooter's iPhones. We have more on that later.
Good evening and welcome to EIV News at 6. I'm Maddie Crichton.
And I'm Peyton Lewis. We begin with tonight's top stories. A major court case ended on Monday when the FBI broke into the San Bernardino shooter's iPhone despite Apple's refusal to assist. Investigators and Apple executives have been locked in conflict for over a month since the FBI believed this phone contained possibly valuable evidence that could lead to major breaks in the investigation. Apple now faces the challenge of tightening their own security code since it evidently was possible to hack into. The FBI has since dropped the suit against the company.
Tom Gores, owner of the Detroit Pistons and Huntington Bank, announced their partnership for an economic development program that's set to help Flint after the water crisis. The program will provide $25 million to support businesses and the residents of Flint and Genesee County. Gores stated in an email that, quote, "The government is responsible for fixing the water supply in Flint, but we're all responsible for fixing the community."
And another strange development coming from Donald Trump's campaign this week, but this time it's not the real estate billionaire making headlines, but rather one of his most trusted advisors. Florida police pressed simple assault charges on Tuesday against Corey Lewandowski, Trump's campaign manager. Lewandowski was caught on video in an altercation with a reporter while in Jupiter, Florida last month. Trump has remained skeptical of the charges, saying that he does not believe that the police report matches the video. Trump is heading into Friday's North Dakota primary, leading the GOP candidates with 736 delegates secured. Lewandowski will appear in court on May 4th, and potentially faces up to a year in prison.
And now our political correspondent Rebecca Hankins has some updates on the 2016 presidential race. Rebecca?
That's right, Maddie. All three Republican candidates indicated that they cannot commit to supporting the GOP nominee. Earlier in the 2016 campaign, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and John Kasich pledged that they would support the eventual nominee, but took back this pledge at a town hall in Milwaukee on Tuesday. Governor Kasich admitted that it would have been a wiser decision not to promise to support the nominee, but it is too late now. The party's current divide leads to the probability of a contested Republican convention this July. This could potentially tear the party apart and frustrate some Trump supporters if he wins most of the delegates in the primary but does not get the general election bid.
Thanks, Rebecca. We're a few months into primary season now, and on the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is still ahead of Bernie Sanders with 1,243 pledged delegates. The competition is increasing, however, after winning 3 Western states last Saturday. Sanders has a total of 980 pledged delegates.
And on the Republican side, Donald Trump is still in the lead with 736 delegates, while Ted Cruz is following behind him with 463 delegates. The third candidate, John Kasich, has 143.
And Donald Trump made headlines again on Tuesday when a 15-year-old protester was pepper sprayed at his rally in Wisconsin. The incident was caught on video by a Wisconsin native and immediately went viral. The young girl was pepper sprayed by a Trump supporter after she allegedly pushed away a man who she claimed groped her. A 19-year-old girl received some secondhand pepper spray as well. Both were taken to local hospitals for treatment.
And the Secret Service is forbidding the attendees of the Republican National Convention in July to carry firearms at the event, putting to rest the online debate which sparked a petition trying to reverse the order. The petition garnered more than 50,000 signatures. According to Kevin Dye, a spokesman for the agency, only authorized law enforcement personnel working with the Secret Service may carry a firearm inside of the Quicken Loans Arena in Ohio. And here's Christina Gesford with an update on what's happening around the globe. Christina?
Myanmar swore in the country's first elected civilian president in 50 years, formally bringing decades of military rule to a close. Hu Tin-kyaw was nominated by the National League for Democracy Party last week and voted into the presidency by Parliament on Tuesday. It is widely expected that the new leader will essentially act as a proxy for the NLD's leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. Hu Tin-kyaw is one of her closest confidants. Suu Kyi is barred from the presidency under an army-drafted constitution, but a draft bill suggests that the new government is to create a special position for her. The proposed post would be, quote, advisor to the state, with a broad mandate similar to that of prime minister. President Barack Obama congratulated Myanmar Wednesday, saying that the inauguration marks a historic milestone in the country's transition to a democratically elected, civilian-led government.
Thanks, Christina. Now we head over to Hannah Miller for some March Madness updates. What do you have for us today, Hannah?
We are down to the Final Four in the March Madness tournament, and some unexpected teams have made it through. The Villanova Wildcats took out #1 seed Kansas and have made a name for themselves along the way. They beat the Jayhawks 64-59 and pulled off the upset, ending the Jayhawks' 17-game winning streak. Both Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart were key players in the final minute of the game, making big steals to help the Wildcats. They will take on the Oklahoma Sooners on April 2nd at 6:09. The Syracuse Orange have surprised many and have also made it to the Final Four. The Orange beat the Virginia Cavaliers 68-62 and will face off against the North Carolina Tar Heels at 6:49 on April 2nd. The final game will be played on April 4th, and at this point, it's anyone's game.
It'll certainly be interesting. Coming up, our correspondent Tom Little has updates on construction development in Seaport. All this and more when we come back.
Have no place to go. Have no place to go. Darling, have no place to go. Have no place to go.
Hello everyone, welcome to this season of College Kitchen. I'm your host, Amelia Fabiano.
And I'm Aaron Kenigsberg.
College Kitchen is a show where we're going to take you around Boston to show you all the hottest food spots.
Whether that is man food, which is your burgers, your bacon, your meat, all that grease, yes.
Or like Sweet Talk, where we'll show you sweet tooth lovers where to get your cake fix, your ice cream fix, all that good stuff.
We also have Wild Card, which is your ticket to food from all over the world.
Or if you're on a budget, like I know I am, we'll take you in the kitchen with Alyssa to show you how to make college food on a budget. So sit back,
Relax.
and enjoy.
College Kitchen!
Welcome back to EIV News at 6. We now head to Tom for some news from the Seaport Construction. Tom?
In the past 20 years, Boston's Seaport District has gone from underdeveloped to one of the more thriving neighborhoods in the city. Let's see what projects are changing the district. General Electric decided to leave Connecticut and call Boston its new home. In Boston, GE will have 800 jobs, only 200 of which are corporate positions. This will add on to the 5,000 employees GE already has in the area. The new headquarters will be on Necco Street. The city has given the company a deal that could be worth up to $145 million to make the location more attractive. Also being added to the area is the Seaport Transportation Center, located near the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. What will look like a parking garage, the city plans to have a Hubway cycle and Zipcar pickup locations. The old Northern Avenue Bridge was closed in 2014 and is expected to undergo renovation. The rusty structure saw a lot of foot traffic to and from the seaport. The new design of the bridge is up to a contest run by the Boston Society of Architects. Anthony's Pier 4 is going to change. The restaurant is being torn down, and it will be replaced by a park and new luxury condos. The area is seeing a frenzy of construction, from office and retail space to residential communities. What is yet to be seen is how the development will affect congestion in the area. For EIV News, I'm Tom Little.
Thanks so much, Tom. Now we hear more from Rebecca with some news about Supreme Court Justice nominee Merrick Garland. Rebecca?
Senator Mark Kirk of Illinois was the first Republican to meet with Supreme Court nominee Merrick Garland on Tuesday. Kirk criticized GOP leaders for not holding hearings with Garland and hopes his meeting will encourage other Republicans to soften their position. Kirk, along with Senator Susan Collins of Maine, believes that the chamber should cast a vote on Garland, and they said they would both consider voting for him. So far, 15 Republicans have stated that they would be willing to meet with Garland, but that they would tell him that he would not get their vote. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell still insists that the Senate will not move forward with this nomination and will wait until Obama's time in office is over. And in local politics, Boston City Council seeks a travel ban to North Carolina. City Councilor Josh Zackham filed this measure Monday in a response to North Carolina's new law, preventing transgendered persons to use bathrooms that do not match their biological gender. This bill has received widespread opposition from big companies like Facebook, American Airlines, and the National Basketball Association. Boston City Council is expected to discuss the matter later this week, and if it is passed, the prohibition will be effective immediately. Mayor Marty Walsh also stated he would sign the measure if the council approves it.
Thanks, Rebecca. And now we'll head back to our international correspondent, Christina Gesford. Christina?
Thanks, Maddie. A domestic Egypt airplane flying from Alexandria to Cairo was hijacked and forced to land in Cyprus on Tuesday. Saif al-Din Mustafa, described by Cypriot officials as unstable, admitted to the hijacking in a statement to police, apparently over issues involving his ex-wife. He allegedly threatened to blow up the plane with a fake explosives belt. Most of the 72 passengers and crew aboard were released soon after the plane landed in Cyprus's Larnaca airport. But Mustafa kept European passport holders on the plane. All the passengers were released after a 6-hour standoff, and Mustafa was arrested when he tried to flee after leaving the plane. The Cyprus court ordered that Mustafa be retained for 8 days, but Egypt requested Wednesday that Mustafa be handed over under a bilateral extradition treaty.
Thank you so much for that update, Christina. In other news, Boeing is set to cut 4,000 jobs by mid-2016 to reduce costs as the demand for commercial aircrafts decreases. The world's largest plane manufacturer states that the job reduction will be made through normal attrition, voluntary buyouts, and leaving open positions unfilled, as well as trying to leave involuntary layoffs as their last resort. They also plan on cutting deliveries by about 20 commercial jets in 2016, while also ending the production of older models such as the 777 and the iconic 747 aircrafts.
Labor unions scored a major win this week following a split decision in the Supreme Court. The 4-4 decision fell in favor of the California Teachers Union, upholding a 1974 decision which allows labor groups to collect fees from their members. The lead plaintiff, Rebecca Friedrichs, filed the suit after being required to pay upwards of $650 per year in union dues and fees. The decision upheld the 9th District Court decision in favor of the union, but did not indicate the 8 individual judges' personal rulings. The 9th seat in the court remains vacant following the death of Justice Scalia earlier this year. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we'll talk to Hannah Miller about sports.
Have no place to go. Have no place to go. Darling, have no place to go. Have no place to go.
Hello everyone, welcome to this season of College Kitchen. I'm your host, Amelia Fabiano.
And I'm Aaron Königsberg.
College Kitchen is a show where we're going to take you around Boston to show you all the hottest food spots.
Whether that is man food, which is your burgers, your bacon, your meat, all that grease, yes.
Or like Sweet Talk, where we'll show you sweet tooth lovers where to get your cake fix, your ice cream fix, all that good stuff.
We also have Wild Card, which is your ticket to food from all over the world.
Or if you're on a budget, like I know I am, we'll take you in the kitchen with Alyssa to show you how to make college food on a budget. So sit back,
Relax.
and enjoy.
College Kitchen!
Welcome back to EIV News at 6.
22 members of the Rancho Verde High School swim team had to be rescued off the La Jolla coast when one swimmer had a panic attack, which triggered other teammates to start to panic as well. The coaches were warned by lifeguards that the 59-degree water was too cold to swim in, but the coaches convinced the lifeguards that the team could handle it. One unconscious 16-year-old was transported to the Scripps Memorial Hospital in La Jolla, while at least 7 others were treated at the scene for excessive cold exposure and hypothermia. And back to Hannah with more news from the sports world. Hannah?
In Tuesday night's matchup between the Blackhawks and the Wild, Duncan Keith took a swing at Charlie Coyle's face with his stick and made contact. Keith was ejected from the game, but as of this time, the NHL has not issued any further punishment. Depending on the outcome, the Blackhawks could be starting the playoffs without Keith. For Norris Trophy winner Keith, this was not something new. In 2013, he did the same thing to Kings player Jeff Carter and was issued a 1-game suspension. Keith's coaches and teammates want nothing to do with the issue. With Tuesday night's game under their belts, the Warriors have improved their record to 67-7. The team must go 6-2 to beat the Chicago Bulls' record for the most wins in a season, which is 73. Golden State is one of the 2 teams that have accomplished reaching 67 wins in 2 consecutive seasons, the other team being the Bulls. They are the 11th team to reach 67 wins. With 8 games to go, the number 73 doesn't seem that far out of reach, and to have started out the season 24-0, it seems as though the Warriors have a good chance of reaching that goal. Golden State broke the record of most three-pointers in a season and only needs 37 more, or 4.6 a game, to be the first team to reach 1,000 in a season. With the team they have on the court, reaching 73 wins and 1,000 three-pointers doesn't seem that far out of reach.
Thanks so much for that update, Hannah. That's all tonight for EIV News. I'm Peyton Lewis.
And I'm Maddie Creighton. Thanks for watching and good night.